Well, I should be at the end of my cold, but I sound worse than I really am. Yeah, I'm cooking all day. Everybody's coming over tonight. We have a costume Christmas party
All right.
at the house.
This crazy extreme couture place. I don't know. What do you mean a costume? What's going on with that?
We just decided to have fun with it. This group that we have really likes to dress up for Halloween. I didn't dress up for Halloween, but I went to one of the parties and just saw how into it everybody got. And the costumes were pretty creative and funny, so we decided to do it for Christmas, so it has to be Christmas themed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you were out at Fort Bragg, which actually in Fayetteville, which turned out to be a pretty interesting event. What was it like there? Cage side, as all these gruesome injuries were happening, and I mean just kind of it was a good night of fights. Unfortunately, it was kind of marred by some of the weird injuries.
Yeah, there were a lot of injuries, and I'm not too squeamish normally. As you know, I'm okay with breaks, and that one had me jumping out of my seat. It was pretty gruesome. It was hard to watch. Well, we heard it before we saw it, and I was hoping that it wasn't what I thought I heard, and of course it was, and I just felt so bad for him, but. Then the next guy, it was just a rough night. Luckily, it was in front of the soldiers, so they could handle it, but they were pretty squeamish, too.
Yeah.
What'd
you think? I didn't see you at the Palms for the Tough event. I don't know if you got back in time, were you? What'd you think of Junie Browning? Because he's now part of the gym, and Junie did a pretty good job.
He completely impressed me. I mean, I see him every day. He's in here training, and he's been such a great joy to have around here. He's really nothing like he was on the show. He's very respectful. Very good to everybody here. He's just quiet. He just comes in here and trains his butt off. And he was impressive. I mean, everything he did impressed me. He had some little crazy stuff bouncing his legs off the cage and everything. I was like, where did this come from? No, he did a good job. And, yeah, I was there. I had to leave right before the main event, unfortunately, but so I didn't get to see Vinny fight. But it was a good night.
Yeah. Do you watch the reality show?
No.
No.
Sorry.
That's all right.
No,
you don't like it, or because there was a big debate this week, a lot of it around Junie and his behavior and being allowed to go on the finale and what the future of the show should be. So, and people are on all sides of it. So,
I hate the drama. I hate the fact that it's not reality that these guys drink. I mean, when they train, nobody drinks. So I'm not into it. I don't like the drama. I don't like the craziness. I'm not into the reality TV show kind of thing. So. If it was more documentary style or, reality of these guys really just training and what they really eat and how they stay healthy and then the fighting, of course, then I'd be into it. But haven't watched it since the second season.
So you're coming off a win. You finally got a win. What do you think of the fight? Because it was kind of an odd fight. It figures, you win a fight and then, the woman you fight is criticized because she's basically running from, 10 seconds in.
It surprised me. I mean, the other 3 fights I had this year, they just come after me. They're there to take my head off. And so I heard she was training with Matt Lindland's camp at Team Quest. So I expected, the worst. I just go out there and expect that she's going to come across there and try to take my head off, and it wasn't quite that way. So I was surprised by that, but it did feel good to go in there and just kind of release all that. Yeah. Kind of had it built up since June, so it felt good to get it out.
Did you talk to her afterwards?
I did.
What'd she say?
She was just showing me everywhere where she hurt, and she was cool. She asked me if she could take me out and buy me a drink. We didn't go, but she was nice. She was fine, and Joe Riggs told me that she was sponsored by Camel.
Nice.
She said he saw her smoking a cigarette before the fight. I'm like, I train like I'm going to the Olympics, and you're smoking a cigarette. So, although it sounds like I'm a smoker right now. I don't smoke, I promise.
Well, you did get a win. But what it leads us into is I wanted to get back into the women's fighting thing a little bit with you. And I don't mean I want to fight you, but our debate. We had a debate last year when you got the broken jaw. And we came down on you pretty hard, my radio host here in town, and said, there's really no reason for you to be fighting. And we're kind of down on female fighting in general. Where do you think it is now, 6 or 8 months later, not just your mindset, but the sport in general? Because, well, in the case of Gina Carano, she lost a big outlet. So I don't know. It almost seems like it's kind of underground, and yet there's a chance it could explode onto a bigger scene.
Well, how do you feel 6 or 8 months later about it?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, honestly, after watching your fight, I kind of feel like maybe there's not enough depth amongst the women's fighters, or the promoters are taking it like it's a joke. I know you went in there and it was dangerous because she could hit back, possibly, but she didn't. So are there enough women's fighters out there to really support a sport and actually get it on TV on a bigger platform?
I think, honestly, I mean, I don't know what her skills were, but I think it was more that the stage fright. I think the crowd and the as big as the show was, I think that kind of got to her more than anything else. And, there's a couple girls that I have seen that happen to. And I think because there isn't that platform that these girls are getting used to, that big of a platform to compete on, it's going to be that stage fright or that being overwhelmed by the crowd and the lights and that's on TV. I think that's what got to her more than anything. She just couldn't pull the trigger.
Right.
I think that somebody is going to step into Elite XC's shoes and start putting women on. I know Strikeforce is going to continue to do it. As far as me, if I continue to do my shows, I'll continue to support the women. There's a hook and shoot tournament coming up January 12th, and it's all women. So I think it's not dead. It just needs to be put on TV somewhere.
Right.
And the depths, of the women's league are there. They just we need to find those girls, and we need to get them on TV and get people familiar with who they are. Because there's girls out there that have had more fights than Gina. There's girls that have had 20-some fights that are really, really technical and really good. Just nobody's ever seen them.
So how would it be? How big would it be if Dana White, who has hinted a little more strongly than in the past? Well, actually, in the past, he said he had no interest. He actually said he might have some interest because Gina does mean money, is marketable. How big would it be to get him behind it in some way, whether it's UFC or WEC?
Oh, I think it would be huge. I think that, if there's anything that I could do to help or Gina could do to help to showcase, the other girls that are out there and help him learn who those girls are that are technical, that have had 20-some fights, that are very, very good, I think he'll find that there is a lot of women out there that could step into those shoes. And I think definitely on that platform, people will get to view it, people will understand, and I know the matchups would be good.
Yeah. I guess my worry would be if they jump on board, are they getting into the Gina Carano business and say she loses her second fight? So they bring her in, she fights somebody, then they set her up against Cyborg. She loses second fight on a WEC card. All of a sudden, did you get in and now you're back out again? Are you really in? Are you going to really push it?
I can't answer that. I hope that they're not just thinking just on one person. I know Gina doesn't want that pressure either. Okay. So hopefully they'll start gathering all these women up, and I can think of quite a few that could start that league off, and I hope they get that opportunity.
What do you think of WEC? I mean, you fought for Strikeforce. They've got a TV deal. WEC, I think, would be higher exposure because of the deal with Versus, and yet I've seen people online debate that, well, women's fighting's already established. Look at the audience that Gina Carano got on Elite XC. How dare they put her on WEC? She needs to go right into UFC. And my thought is, I don't know if women's fighting is established enough to put in UFC, and to turn down WEC in essence would be, I think, ridiculous. To me, that is a good platform.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. I mean, we're still trying to get people excited about it. I think there's definitely an interest there. I think that the timing will be right if it ever goes to UFC. But like I said, a lot of other women have to be established besides just Gina, before it makes that step. But I think WC is a great platform, and we don't need to overwhelm people, but if they put one girl fight on the entire card, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Right. And just start to build it up from there. Right. And with Strikeforce doing it as well, I mean, I think there's definitely an interest. I've gotten a very positive feedback from the Strikeforce card, and hopefully my next fight, they'll throw me someone good and we'll have a real fight, and I'm ready for it. So, get somebody in there that we're going to have a brawl and be technical and show people what we could do.
No mention of Affliction, huh?
There's still some Affliction shirts in here.
At the Extreme Couture shop. It's on clearance, though. You can grab it for very cheap for Christmas. So can you leak out what you're getting Randy for Christmas? Or is it a big secret? Or do you guys buy any? Are you to the point now, we have so much stuff, we don't need anything?
I'm getting him a gun safe. I can say it. He got me. It was It was my birthday yesterday. So, and this has happened my whole life. I get my birthday and Christmas together. But
and you're sick. Lovely.
But he got me a grand piano, which I've wanted for my entire life. And I've been taking piano lessons with my son. I took him when I was a kid, and it's been a long time. So I got me and my son into piano lessons again. And I've just wanted one my entire life. So.